This show is about pears, and a whole lot of it I didn't know before I was researching it. We have these some little artifacts to bring out. Look at that. That's a panel from a crate of Argentine pears. How about this little guy? And that's a beautiful glass pear. That's a kind of a candle one. I love this little guy. A wooden one. Look, this is some sort of a little Japanese little couple living in a pear house. This is an 1852 New England Farmer magazine newspaper. 1852. Look at this engraving, and it's talking about this couple has this pear tree, and it says this native Ohio. We find it perfectly hardy here in New England, probably well adapted to still a more northern culture. This is people sharing their information with the New England Farmer magazine. Here's Mother Nature, Earth's Children. This is a 1920s publication. Said Mother Pear, "Dear me, those twins are just as much alike as pins. I must do something, I declare." So she cut little sister's hair. And how about this little Pear village? Lots going on here. This is from a, wait a minute. Yeah, this is from a 1932 little booklet to help children understand about vitamins and how pears are full of vitamins. A little Pearville, way over, and this is a Washington, Oregon Pear Association promotion. Look at these little pear farmers. I just love these kind of graphics. A pear house. Lots going on there. There's our little pear house model. There's a little story here, but there's also, for the adults, lots of recipes for pears. This little booklet. And then speaking of recipes, wow, this book. This is Pear's Gourmet and Garden Guide for Rediscovered Heirlooms to Modern Favorites. This is packed with recipes, stories, beautifully designed booklet, and it features all of these heirloom pears. I had no idea there were that many pears. And yeah, look at this. There's a estate in California that is dedicated mostly to pears. So a lot more. We'll put links. Thomas Jefferson was a big pear fan. So that's that. So here's a slideshow I prepared. Sweet bell-shaped fruits grown on trees, and there's the genus, and you can see some of the more popular varieties. Oh yeah, partridge in a pear tree, 12 days of Christmas. There's a nice graphic of the various parts of the flower and the tree. Oh, and savory baked pears with gorgonzola cheese. Oh wow, look at that. And some looks like some pecans. Another view of the different types of pears. Asian pears look like an apple. Look at this orchard. Some of these pear trees grow much higher, and some of them are kept deliberately dwarfed so that they can be harvested. Here's a beautiful wooden pear made out of pear wood. And here's pears and whoa, asparagus looks like, and some cheese. Looks delicious. So here's some more information about them. 3,000 varieties of pears worldwide, 28 million tons. China, of course, leads the world, 76%. Much of it is pears come from different California, of course. Here are some pear things, snacks and recipes. There's that. All look delicious. Roasted pears and red onions. Oh, what a combination that is, huh? Sherry, or pear cider, alcoholic beverage from fermented pears, traditionally in England. You can see here these mature pear orchard. Unusual traditional pear orchards. The trees are extremely large size. Here's one of the old presses that they had for making this. Here's a bottle of traditional perry. That's one from Normandy. We're going to get in that. French have Poire Willem. They put a bottle into a stem where a pear will grow, and then they protect it, and then this pear grows into a full-size pear, and then they have a liqueur, Poire Willem liqueur, that they pour into it and package it. You can see the whole process here. What a labor of love that is. Another French labor of love is poire tapé, which is the traditional French delicacy of dehydrated, flattened pears, originating in the Touraine region of France. Centuries-old preservation dates back to the Middle Ages, where they could be able to store fruit for long periods, famously supplying sailors with lightweight, vitamin-rich food to prevent scurvy. Here they are. This is the process. Slow cook, so they dehydrate it, and then they use these slammer tools to flatten the pears. There's a whole traditional site preserved, a museum. We visited this when we were working on our French book, and there's lots of exhibits. You can go and see how this is done. You can taste. You can go, and they used to be in caves, and I don't know if that's still there, but when we were there, tastings and all that. So France is so good at preserving their food heritage. Another view of some of the tools. There's that slammer that they use to flatten it after it's been dehydrated. Look at all the different tools that they use for this sort of thing. Here are some folks getting ready or being able to taste right in the exhibition area. Some products, various products that they've made out of the poire tapé results, and then who could resist this? A pear tart. Wow. It says, while they can be eaten as chewy, intense dried fruit snack, poire tapé are most famous when rehydrated, and gourmets typically simmer them for 30 to 40 minutes in liquid with some Loire red wine to rehydrate them, and then they put some, say, honey and cinnamon. Oh, it all sounds so good. In the Normandy section of France, they have these high stem or tall trunk pear trees. Unlike the dwarf kind, they can grow up to 50 feet tall, live to be over 300 years, and this is what the pears that they were using for the poire tapé, and also for the cider made from pears called perry. And I was saying, look at that, famously long-lived, 100 years to grow, 100 years to produce, and 100 years to die. Good quote. Here's the outside of the Musée du Poire in the Normandy section. We were just talking about that. Look at this. I think that might be a real pear tree, kind of espalier kind of attached to the building. I think it's real. And outside they've got these big presses, and you can walk this whole orchard tour and then have a view of the exhibits inside. They have these old presses and the whole process for making pear cider. Look at the old press there, or otherwise known as perry. And we just mentioned that England also has a process like this. Look at the number of different products of pear cider. And then there's the Normandy pear route. You can take this whole route that goes through all these orchards and these villages where these products are processed. Different brands are produced. Look at this fellow. His pear head, money pouring out of a bag. He's running away. This is the Le Poire Tapé, an 1848 satirical lithograph published by Aubert, depicting King Louis Philippe as a pear fleeing an angry mob while dropping coins, playing on the double meaning of the phrase as an oven-dried pear, which we've just been talking about, or French slang. And then here's Louis Philippe, another caricature of him. The king's head takes the distinct shape of a pear, a long-running visual symbol of, in French caricature, also doubled as slang for a simpleton or fool. Pear wood, premium dense hardwood used in fine woodworking, musical instruments, and other things due to its exceptionally fine straight grain. Look at this table made out of this. Because the trees are kept short for fruit harvesting, large logs are rare, making it a prized material for smaller, precision-based applications. Look at these art bowls made of pear wood. Here's a viola stem. This guy's got a pear wood comb. Looks pretty happy about that. Pear wood has been used for relief sculpture. Here's some examples. The 12 Days of Christmas. This is one of the earliest references to that song. On the first day of Christmas, my true love gave to me a partridge in a pear tree. There's all sorts of symbolism involved in that song, and you can look that up. Here's one of those exaggerated cards that Americans love to send from out west, showing folks that the big fruit and how fertile the land was. So this is one of those cards. And then here's another image of the Poire Willem. Look at that in the liqueur. Thanks for joining us at another show. You can subscribe to these shows on YouTube. It's free, and you can send us messages. Tell your friends about all this. We enjoy pulling out and sharing our artifacts about food history and food heritage. And we will see you next time for more of these global food heritage shows that we're doing. Thank you for watching. See you again next time.